Hello and welcome to AMG Time And Attendance system video tutorial. In this video I'm going to introduce you to one of the main concepts of the program, which is pay policies. In AMG Attendance system, having at least one pay policy is mandatory because each employee should be assigned a pay policy. For configuring pay policies, you should go to Definition section and click on Pay Policies menu button. As a result, the Pay Policies window will be opened, where you can add new pay policies, edit or delete existing ones. You can also filter pay policies by some criteria, generate report about pay policies, and adjust the table's columns to optimize visibility by hiding and showing them, and also changing the order of visible columns. Now, if you want to add a new pay policy, click on Add button. As a result, the system will output a question whether you want to copy data from an existing record or not. If you want the policy to have the same values as one of the existing policies, click Yes, otherwise click No. If you have clicked No, will be opened Add Pay Policy window with the default values. Pay policies are intended for configuring many important parameters, such as pay period type, day reset value, duration of ignoring duplicate transactions, holiday payment, overtime payment, exceptions reporting for minors, and many others. That's why we recommend you to be very attentive when configuring pay policies. Let's go step by step by configuring each parameter. At first, fill in information in General tab. In the Code and Name mandatory fields, enter the code and name of the pay policy. In the Start Date field, enter or select from the calendar the date from which the pay period should start. Then from the Period combo box, select the pay period type. It can be weekly, bi-weekly, semi-monthly, monthly, and 4-weekly. In case it is semi-monthly, you should also enter number of days of the first part of the semi-monthly period. Check Close Time Card at Pay Period End at box if you want that on the pay period's last day time card gets automatically closed at any necessary time. That time you should mention here. For example, if you enter in this field 12 AM, which is the midnight, then on the last day of the pay period, if employee works over midnight, at 12 midnight will automatically appear clock out and clock in transactions. As a result of which, in current pay period will be counted only hours before midnight. And any hours worked after midnight will be counted in the next pay period. According to selected pay period type and entered start date in the current pay period box will be automatically calculated and displayed the current pay period start and end dates. Now let's go to punch defaults. In the Ignore Use of Duplicate Function Key Punches fields, enter within how many minutes and seconds the use of the same punches should be ignored. For example, if we enter here 2 minutes, and the employee performs clock-in action more than once within 2 minutes, then only the last clock-in transaction will be displayed in the time card. All the others will be ignored. Below you can configure the same option for opposite punches. In the Ignore Use of Opposite Function Key Punches, enter within how many minutes and seconds the use of the opposite punches should be ignored. For example, if we enter also here 2 minutes, and the employee performs within 2 minutes opposite actions like, for example, clock in and clock out, or out for lunch and in for lunch, then only the last performed action will be displayed in the time card. All the others will be ignored. These two parameters are very important because sometimes employees forget that they have already punched and they punch again, which may result in having inaccurate time card if not configured these parameters properly. In the missing out patch limit field, enter the amount of hours after which employee will be automatically clocked out by the system, in case his actual clock out patch is missing. Also, in the next, we'll default the work total to field, enter the amount of hours which will be assigned to the employees for those days when actual clock out patch is missing, and limit for performing out patch has already passed. For example, if you enter 14 hours in the missing out patch limit field, and 5 hours in will default the work total to field, then to the employees working with this policy, the system will assign 5 worked hours for all those days when employee doesn't clock out and in general doesn't perform any action within 14 hours after patching in. In the reset day at field, enter the time at which you want the day to be reset. In other words, at mentioned time will start a new day. The use of reset day time will be explained later when explaining other relevant parameters. Check use this hour for resetting swipe and go box. If you use swipe and go actions and you want that swipe and go punches performed after day reset time always be recorded as a start time. So, for example, if you enter 2 AM as day reset and check use this hour for resetting swipe and go, then if employee performs swipe and go action at 3 AM, it won't be connected to previous day's punch, but will be considered as a start time of the new day. In maximum period for out punches to link forward to next in punch field, mention the amount of hours during which out punches should link forward to the next in punch. For employees working with day shift, this parameter is not important because anyway all worked hours are recorded for the same day's time card. But for employees working with overnight shift, these parameters is very important because during their shift a new day starts. So for example, let's enter here 5 hours and let's suppose that employee has punched out before the day end and punched in back already in the next day. So in this case, if duration of being outside is less than 5 hours, then the in punch will be recorded in the previous day's time card. But if employee was outside for more than 5 hours, then in punch will be recorded already in the new day's time card. In override linking forward to in, if until next shift start remains less than field, mention less than how many hours should remain until next shift start, in order to override linking out punch forward to next in punch. This parameter is connected with previous parameter and is also mostly important for overnight shifts. At last, you should configure sticky miscellaneous transactions variance parameters. Details about how miscellaneous entries can stack to the nearest in-out transaction you can learn in video tutorial about categories. In the start field, enter the allowed variance of miscellaneous transactions start time from actual out transaction, within which the category can stick to the nearest transaction. In the end field, enter the allowed variance of the miscellaneous transactions end time from actual in transaction, within which the category can stick to the nearest transaction. That's all about policies, configuration, parameters available in General tab. In other videos, we will refer also to next tabs. Thank you for your attention.